Divergence means the act of moving or extending in different directions from a common point. So when we say neurodivergence, we're talking about a brain that processes differently from what's considered standard or typical. Now, who wrote that standard? Let's get into it. Welcome to the Divergent Dreamer podcast. This is for the creatives, non-linear thinkers, and the ones who fill the world with color. You listening right now is a dream come true. And if you want to build, create, and thrive on your own terms, stay tapped in, take a breath, get comfortable, and let's explore what it means to dream divergently. This one I take serious because of the sensitivity around labels. So before I get into the nitty-gritty, I want to share ways that divergence can show up. Because here's the truth of the matter. Labels do help give us a framework and language, but we should always seek to expand the conversation beyond diagnosis, labels, and into the nuance of lived experience. Don't get me wrong. Labels can be helpful and let us feel seen after years of feeling off. But we are tired of the negative narratives that usually surround them. To set the record straight, our research is showing up in a lot of cultures, especially in our ancestral, indigenous, African cultures. These weren't diagnoses, they were roles. I love what Lavette Jallo has written on these topics. If you haven't read her work, definitely go check her out. But we were the storytellers, the seers, the artists, and disruptors. We always felt what other people couldn't feel. And we weren't ostracized for it either. We were celebrated for our connection, and we were positioned in high places of society. So when I say divergent, I'm talking about how we move through the world. I'm talking about those who experience reality on a slightly different frequency. Now, sometimes this feels like a gift, but sometimes, or even a lot of times, it makes daily life really hard because of how life is today. Let's talk about neurodivergence being a superpower. I understand the sentiment of the framing, but I don't always like the word superpower because it only holds the magic of our divergence and not really the mess. I get it. The way our brain works is powerful, especially when it's understood. We are carrying insight, creativity, and emotional depth that's really unmatched. We can see what others typically miss. We create worlds of new possibilities, and we are typically the ones using our intuition and emotional intelligence to lead with compassion and create safe spaces for people. We really are all that in a bag of chips. For real, for real. Real quick, I just want to say thank you for listening, for pulling up and showing up. And if you've been nodding your head, feeling seen, or thinking, yo, more people need to hear this, support the podcast by sharing it. And if you're interested in sponsoring an episode or partnering with us to keep this vision going strong, head to the show notes to connect. All right, back to the conversation. Here's the mess neurodivergence can make. There's the seen and known impacts like difficulty regulating emotions or attention, restlessness, impulsiveness, forgetfulness, overstimulation, etc., etc. But where it gets crazy is in the ways that it's not known or shown. It's easy to feel misunderstood because you think and process differently. You can't unsee what others ignore because of the extreme sensitivity to injustice. Quote-unquote small things, like scheduling an appointment where small talk burn you out. And just in case you benefit from hearing a few more, you may over-identify with being low maintenance because you've learned to minimize your needs to be accepted. Procrastinating or avoiding things you deeply care about because the pressure to get it right is just too much. Or you may be the strong friend who people go to, but your own regulation often feels fragile or don't even exist. And while everyone may experience one or a few of these sometimes, divergence is when all of these pile up and jump you. It's not an occasional thing, it's your everyday. And it shapes every aspect of your life in ways that impact your relationships, home and work life, etc. It really gets real. It's not wrong. It's not broken. It's just not socially standardized for our ways of living today. So yeah, if we're going to use a label, it might be ADHD. It might be autism. It might be trauma, creativity, sensitivity, or a combo of experiencing all of it. But at its core, divergence is about how we show up in the world compared to what's made common. Emphasis on made. Now, if you're under the sound of my voice and found yourself nodding like, yeah, that's me, maybe for the first time, welcome. It's important to pause and make space right now, because when I first came to this realization, it hit. There was relief. You know, I'm not lazy, I'm not broken, I'm not the only one. But there was also grief. Grief for all the years I didn't know, for all the ways I tried to force myself into what didn't fit, And then for all the shame that I carried for just not being able to get with it. So if you're feeling that right now or ever, or know someone who has, breathe with me and let it be there. Understanding is all a part of becoming our full self. We can only maximize what we understand. The best part is that you're not alone. You've got language, you've got community, and you've got permission to move at your own pace. So wherever you are on this journey, whether you're just now realizing or you're a vet in the game, just know you're not behind, you're not broken. You are a divergent dreamer, divinely designed to live in a world that hasn't been built yet. And that's a privilege. That's why we have this space. Because when we breathe, we build. And when we build, the world becomes a better place. We need you. You make this world a better place. Thank you so much for tapping into the Divergent Dreamer. You listening is a dream come true. If this episode resonated with you, do me a favor. Let this message reach someone else. Subscribe, share it, and hey, if you're feeling generous, don't hesitate to buy me a coffee. The link's in the show notes. Thank you again for being a part of this journey. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep creating, and keep thriving.